It is left for the person who is being criticized to be able to differentiate amongst the criticisms. You cannot stop those who are criticizing from criticizing or saying, no, let your criticism be constructive. It is left for the individual to be able to sift amongst the criticism which is constructive and which is left to pull him.
He has not abandoned the country to the critics. They have done they are doing their damage, and he is focused and is doing his job. If you look at all the probes, for instance, that has taken place in the petroleum ministry, in the petroleum sector of this nation, we never knew. It's the same president that is allowing all these things to happen, even in his amongst his ministers.
Because the people started it all. And that is why they say the people should also come into all of this to know what exactly is expected of the ministers or aides. Because if the people were not aware, and if we never had a listening president or a listening government, then we wouldn't have been where we are today. So if he takes them as partners in all of this, then surely, just in case he's missing out on anything, someone somewhere should be able to point it out and say, this minister has erred in this regard.
Let me also, at this point, say that not all the ministers have performed so wonderfully well. It is very clear. And my personal opinion has been, Mr. President, time has even come to effect some changes in order for us to move forward. Some of the ministers are doing wonderfully well. Some we don't even know what they are doing. The people, for instance, in the information management of the government, I don't know how they have muscled a lot of things up. Some of the things we hear coming out from them look embarrassing. And that is why when some people are even talking, you can't even blame them so much.
One of the recent matters is this 5,000 naira notes. Because, I mean, lots of people have said, whatever reasons there are, because yes, they've given their reasons, government has given their own reason, but they think that the government is not listening to them. The government keeps saying, listen, this policy is here to stay. Not even saying, okay, we'll hold on and listen to you for a while, but they say, what, we approve it. We can even do 10,000 naira notes, some of them say.
Well, you know, this burning issue of 5,000 naira notes, just like I listened to some of the commentators this morning who are members of the National Economic Council, is something that I don't want us to be fixated. Let us allow the explanations of government to see how it is going to work. Let us give them a chance to see how this, because some countries have even in the past withdrawn such currencies. You know, I know of some countries when they introduced certain denominations in their currency and the thing is not working out or meeting up what they targeted, they withdraw such currencies. Let us see how this one works. They have already made a lot of investment in it. They are already determined and projected what they want to achieve. Let us give them some chance and allow this arrangement to be practiced, so that along the line, if it is not working, we cry out and we can withdraw it.
Must we make the mistake first? I mean,
there's no mistake.
Because the thing is this, if you want to come up with a policy, is it wrong for government to put that policy to the test first in terms of debating it, in terms of winning over public opinion? Is there anything wrong with that?
The public have spoken. The government is the ball stops on the government's table. The government has made up their mind that they believe that this is going to be for the good of the nation. Let us then not begin to destroy things or pull things down. Excuse me, yeah. Because the government is not towing the part of some people who disagree. Fine. Let us allow government to practice this thing or to prove to us what they say they want to achieve. And if it is not working, we are still here to cry out and say, Mr. President, this thing is not working. Please let us have a change.
I'm not talking about the 5,000 naira note alone.
Okay.
I'm talking about decision making generally in government, especially when your decision is going to affect the masses. Is it not only proper that you try to win over the masses into your policy before you go ahead and carry it out?
You know, government and policies is a very difficult thing to manage. Most times, even if you check advanced democracies or countries, you see that people are having problems selling policies. You know, because somehow we think this will be the best. In the end, it may not be the best. We are not alone in this. What is important is that the nation is moving. And we try out things. We introduce policies. If they are working well, they continue. If they are not working, we must also be courageous enough to stop or withdraw such policies. I am not saying that it is cast on stone that this particular policy will work or will not work. What is important is that we are progressive, we are dynamic about it.
Should public opinion matter?
Public opinion to some extent will matter, but then it's not all issues that you talk about public opinion. I remember, for instance, when in those days we were in the university and they talked about subsidy on education. I think it was during the IBB regime. You know, when the World Bank wanted to assist the nation in education. People said no, we were not going to take it. In the end, we abandoned that policy. But the nation ended up and suffered because our currency was devalued, and even the money we were targeting, we were going to use, we took over 200% of that amount of money. You know, so these things are not rules that are straight. You know, what is important is there's no finality in science. There's no finality in whatever the society is doing. Right. What is important is when it is introduced and it's not working, we withdraw it.
Okay, at the end of, say, the second budget year, the unemployment rate does not reduce by, let's say, 20%. Would you think there's still a need for this contract, especially if the ministers responsible still remain in their positions?
You see, I have been an advocate of private sector driving employment. I have, for instance, been in government, and I know that it is wrong to continue to use all the money in the economy to service government. A situation whereby everybody wants to work in government is wrong. Let private sector drive employment issues. If you check America, each time they release indices for employment, they are talking about what the private sector, how they have created jobs and those to be taken. For instance, there's an initiative the government is working on now, empowering women entrepreneurs, which was launched by the president a few days ago. Those are things that has to be encouraged. You know, a situation whereby our economy, the world economy, is not even limited only to Nigeria. And unemployment is everywhere. It's in the US, it's in Britain, it's in all the countries of the world. We are trying to manage our own problem. You know, and each nation has a peculiar way of handling their own cases. You know, our people have to come back and not continue to criticize people in authority as if to say they have the solution to everything. They are doing their best. They are trying. But you know, it is something you cannot solve and say it's over.
And if you can't solve it, then they say they should also take the other attitude of some people in other parts of the world. You resign, you look at the president and say, Mr. President, it's too big for me to handle.
You cannot abandon your country. You cannot abandon the work. You have to continue trying it out.